Hi there, and welcome back to the Golden Thread Gallery Curators Discuss series. We have a special for you today, a special edition. My name is Mary Stevens, as you know, and I'm delighted to be joined this week by Sarah McAvera, the Deputy Director of the Golden Thread Gallery, and Sharon Murphy. So Sarah has over 10 years experience in curating and managing projects at Golden Thread. She has curated and co-curated countless exhibitions in the space alongside extensive artist mentoring and project management. We have Sharon here with us as well today. Sharon Murphy is a lens-based artist and curator. She has worked in the arts for more than 25 years in the visual and performing areas. She has significant experience in theatre and local government arts, having held senior positions in both the Abbey Theatre and the Dunleary Rathdown County Council. She is currently the resident curator at Druicht, and she was actually first introduced to the gallery in 2015-16 through the Esme Fairbairn Career Enhancement Programme. She then went on to have an exhibition curated by Sarah in the project space in 2018 with artist Victoria J. Dean. So we're delighted to have her with us, and Sarah as well. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Mary. Yeah. Lovely to be here.
Bye. I suppose we'll just get started then, Sharon, if you want to kind of talk a little bit about kind of how you came to know the Golden Thread and kind of how that experience began for you.
Okay, well, I'm delighted that I have a really fruitful and lovely relationship with the gallery, both as a photographic artist in that exhibition that you mentioned that took place a couple of years ago, and I'm due to curate an exhibition of works by the German artist Thomas Pretzing post the lockdown situation. So I suppose I came to the gallery through, as you have said, Mary, the career enhancement program that was supported by the Esme Fairbairn Foundation, and that was just after I came out of college. I did another primary degree in fine art, photographic fine art, in the Institute for Art Design and Technology, graduation in 2014. So this career enhancement program, which was being offered by the Golden Thread Gallery, I applied for because I was really looking for, I suppose, in those early days of graduating, I was looking for a tribe, looking for a context, and both the reputation and the stature of the Golden Thread Gallery, together with the fact that photography is very alive in the north of Ireland and in Belfast. There is a really so I was delighted to get accepted on that program, and through that I got to know Sarah, who was curating that program, and she was also my mentor, which was part of the Esme Fairbairn offer. It was a fantastic opportunity. We had monthly meetings over the course of the year, meeting with artists, having inputs and supports in terms of the kind of the business of art, and it was a huge networking opportunity. But what really struck me, and what is a core value, I think, of the Golden Thread Gallery and of the style, certainly of Sarah's style and that of Peter Richards as well, is a kind of an openness. And our relationship and my relationship with Sarah primarily developed organically. She was my mentor, and she's very skilled in that because she was very deft and distilled in what she had to offer me at a very critical point when I just come out of college. Subsequently then, I got a phone call or an email from Sarah in her typical kind of understated, quiet kind of way, which is very open. It's very, because artists are, and I found myself as a kind of mid-career professional who had gone back to create, who developed a creative practice, in a state of kind of nervousness about how to proceed and so on. So with Sarah, and with Golden Thread, what I got was kind of somebody who's able to kind of winkle you out and discuss things in a way that was very freeing, actually, very fluid, very open. And because the relationship had been established, it was very fluid. So Sarah invited me to work with, or to be in an exhibition in the project space with Victoria J. Dean. And I thought that was a kind of an act of curatorial brilliance, because I would never have put us together. So Sarah, you might.
Do you want to maybe kind of talk a little bit about how that project kind of came together?
I suppose for me, the initial connection between Sharon's work and Victoria's was actually that they both had an element of the sinister about them, and something lurking behind them, and that while Sharon's, there was a bit of a focus on the figurative. There was, in the series, there was a child, there was literally a little girl, and throughout them were Victoria's big imposing structures, but with both of them you didn't really know what it was that was happening and what the story was behind them. And I think generally as a person, but as a curator as well, I'm really interested in the story. And what I really liked about their works was that you could bring your own story. And I think we had a lot of conversations, and Victoria and Sharon and I, and they were very open to the idea that I had an idea of what it was that I thought that their works were about. And they had their own, and we didn't always agree, but they were very open to the idea that that was fine, and that every single visitor who came and looked at the work, they could have a completely different story about them. And so I think that's maybe why it worked, because we all enjoyed having the conversation so much.
Yeah, I agree, and I also think as well that those early conversations were sometimes kind of tentative, unsure, uncertain, because I never, as I said, would have put Victoria and myself together. Here's this woman who has this absolute sense of seriality and these extraordinary images of kind of monuments or sculptures on the landscape, and I had this little tiny child, enveloped in kind of more natural landscapes, and I never would have seen the work fit together. And of course, it just did, because Sarah saw that. I think also what it did for me at that time was really push the boundaries of that work as well. Like, I mean, I when Sarah said to me initially, I find, and I believe audience, viewers and so on, found the work sinister. That was never my intention necessarily as an artist making the work. But when you make the work, and you tell the story, but then you leave it go. So it was so intriguing to juxtapose the work, with Victoria, and then to see what might happen in the space. So underpinning all of that was a real experimentation, and also pushing the possibilities. I created some new work out of that. It didn't necessarily find its way into the exhibition, but it really did push my thinking on the project. And that's what happens in a project that's well led by, a curator.
Interesting you say that, Sharon, because obviously you've come from the unique position of being both an artist and a curator and having worked with us. I wonder if you could kind of talk a little bit about how you find the Golden Thread's kind of general style and its approach in that way, especially with, your own extensive experience also in that area, and kind of how that might compare and, your relationship with the gallery.
Yes, well, thank you. I think it's underpinned by the same kind of qualities, which is around openness and about reflectiveness and about listening and pausing. I mean, that's the relational thing is what's really, I think, it's a value, clearly, and it's a style thing in the Golden Thread. And I think that's where things can happen, because there is no fixed it's kind of, let's have a conversation, let's see what unfolds. So I found that very interesting. And I was absolutely delighted then to be invited a couple of years later, just for this year, to bring an artist or an exhibition to the project space. I've been working as a resident curator, as you said, in Drake Art Centre of Blanchardstown in Dublin 15. It's a big conurbation. It has one of the fastest growing young people's population, of any local authority in Ireland, in the Republic. It has basically the second fastest growing diverse community. So I wanted the opportunity maybe to curate out of that context. So what I got from Golden Thread Gallery in this instance was the opportunity maybe to create something different, something that was more site-specific to the Golden Thread, something that didn't carry any kind of necessarily particular kind of strategic agenda of an organization. And that's what's wonderful as a curator. And I'm presenting the works of Thomas Bretzing, who is a German artist based in North County Dublin, whose work is mid-career. He's mid-career, he's quite successful, and yet his work has never been seen in the north of Ireland. So it's a real, again, Sarah and Peter were very open to my suggestions, and I thought I should present a series, but they said, no, you're at this point. I was mentoring Thomas, and I thought this is a really good opportunity for us to work together, and Golden Thread the perfect place because of that fluidity and that openness.
Thank you.
I think you were very open too, Sharon. You know, again, I suppose it comes back to that conversation, you know, that when we were talking about what you might create for us and who and how it might happen, that you weren't stuck to a rigid idea of what it would be either.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that gets to the heart of it. It's been one of the most fruitful relationships that I have had, and enjoyable as well. You know, since I did my degree in photography in 2014. So thank you for that.
Yes, no, thank you so much for joining us. So we have so little time to get into all this, but it's wonderful to have had you here, and hopefully everyone can join us again for our next one. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sharon. See you again.
And thank you, Mary. Thank you, Sarah. Take care. Bye.
Bye.